Today, we're going to break this system. I'm not going to drone on about how you need to give up life's pleasures, stop going to cafes, and start saving every penny. That doesn't work. We'll approach the problem like engineers. We'll break down two scientifically proven, mathematically calculated methods for tackling debt. Right now, as you're watching this video, the bank is making about 14 cents a minute off of you. It seems like nothing, but by the end of the month, that small amount turns into hundreds of euros. Money you personally, with your own hands, are handing over for the privilege of owning things you probably didn't even need that much. Let's be honest, you've surely tried to budget before. You downloaded fancy apps, logged every 3.5 euro cup of coffee, and swore to yourself you'd spend less starting next month. And how did that end? After about 2 weeks, this endless counting of pennies starts to drive you crazy. You feel trapped in a cage, your stress levels rise, and your brain demands compensation. The result? A breakdown, an impulse buy, and your credit card debt doesn't just fail to decrease, it grows. The worst thing about credit isn't even the interest. It's that constant underlying sense of guilt. You wake up with it, you fall asleep with it. Every time you walk into a supermarket and see the total at the register, something inside you tightens. You feel like you're not in control of your own life. You're not working for yourself, not for your future, but for the beautiful headquarters of your bank. Today, we're going to break this system. I'm not going to drone on about how you need to give up life's pleasures, stop going to cafes, and start saving every penny. That doesn't work. We'll approach the problem like engineers. We'll break down two scientifically proven, mathematically calculated methods for tackling debt: the snowball method and the avalanche method.
Today, we're going to tell you all about it. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next videos.
You'll see why classic financial advice often fails, and you'll get a clear roadmap that will let you pay off your loans twice as fast while keeping your sanity and self-respect intact. No magic, no get-rich-quick schemes, just pure psychology and cold, hard math. So why can't most people climb out of the debt trap for years on end? We hear it from every corner. Just save, just practice financial discipline. But let's face it, this advice is completely useless. It's like telling someone with depression, hey, just stop being sad. If it were that simple, debt problems wouldn't exist. The main mistake of traditional financial gurus is that they treat people like robots. They think we make decisions based on spreadsheets, but that's not true. We make decisions based on emotions and hormones. Banks know this far better than you think. They hire the best neuroscientists to design apps that make it as easy as possible for you to spend money. The one-click buy button, interest-free 3-month installments, installment plans right at the store terminal. The process of spending money has become completely painless. You just tap your phone against the terminal, beep, and the money's gone. Your brain doesn't even have time to register the loss. To it, these aren't real euros, they're just numbers on a screen. But the process of paying back the debt is pure, concentrated pain. And when you try to just save, your brain perceives it as a cruel punishment. A mode of severe deprivation kicks in. Imagine a dam. You hold back your desires, scrimp on everything, and deny yourself even basic pleasures. The water pressure builds, and at some point, the dam inevitably breaks. You buy something completely unnecessary on credit, just to numb that stress. Our brains are wired in such a way that they crave quick wins. It needs dopamine, the hormone of goal achievement. When you pay off a huge loan in equal installments, you don't see any progress. You've paid 500 euros, and the total debt has gone from 20,000 to 19.5. Visually, nothing has changed. To the brain, this looks like endless, meaningless drudgery. You're pedaling a bike that's welded to the floor. Naturally, after a couple of months, you lose motivation. So, to conquer debt, we need to fight not against math, but against our own psychology. We need to trick our brains into enjoying the process of paying off debt. And here's how we'll do it. Let's move on to hard facts and concrete steps. There are two main strategies for quickly paying off debt. They are called the snowball method and the avalanche method. Let's break them down using a specific example. Imagine we have a hypothetical borrower. Let's call him Alex. Alex has 3 debts. First, there's a credit card balance of 1,200 euros at a whopping 20% APR. The minimum payment is 50 euros per month. Second, a consumer loan for buying electronics, 4,000 euros at 10% APR. The minimum payment is 150 euros. Third, a car loan, 15,000 euros at 5% APR. The minimum payment is 300 euros. In total, Alex is guaranteed to pay the bank 500 euros every month. And let's say that after optimizing his expenses, he managed to scrape together an additional 200 euros, which he is ready to use for early repayment. That means his total available funds amount to 700 euros. How will these methods work? Step 1. Creating a debt map. Before choosing your weapon, you need to face the enemy head-on. You need to list all your debts in a single table, not just in your head, but strictly on paper or in a file. 4 columns: debt name, total amount, interest rate, and minimum monthly payment. Step 2. Choosing a strategy. And now comes the most interesting part. We decide exactly how to allocate Alex's extra 200 euros. Option 1. The snowball method. Here, we temporarily set aside interest rates and sort the debts strictly by size, from the smallest to the largest. In Alex's case, the list looks like this: credit card, 1,200, personal loan, 4,000, car loan, 15,000. What do? We continue to make the minimum payments on the second and third loans, and all the extra money, our entire additional 200 euros, we throw at the smallest debt, the credit card. Now we're paying 250 euros on it instead of 50. What's the catch? The credit card debt will be paid off in a flash, literally in just a few months. And once it's paid off, Alex will have his minimum payment of 50 euros freed up. Now he has 250 euros in available funds. He takes this snowball and directs it toward his next largest debt, his personal loan. Now he pays 400 euros toward it instead of 150 euros. When that's paid off, the entire 550 euros is directed toward his car loan. Option 2. The avalanche method. Here we focus exclusively on the math. We sort debts by interest rate, from highest to lowest. In our example, the list will look the same because Alex's most expensive debt is the credit card at 20%. But if the car loan were at 25%, we would start with it, even though it's the largest. We direct all extra payments toward the loan with the highest interest rate, eliminating the most expensive overpayment. So which one should you choose? Mathematically speaking, the avalanche method is always the better option. You pay less interest to the bank in the long run. It's logical, it's sensible. But the paradox is that large-scale behavioral economics studies conducted by Harvard University have shown that the snowball method turns out to be much more effective in practice for real people. Why? Because of that very psychology. When you pay off the smallest debt in 3 months, you cross it off the list. Your debt map physically shrinks. Your brain sees, wow, the system works. I did it. I'm winning. You get a powerful rush of dopamine. This gives you the strength to keep fighting for the next 6 months. The avalanche method, on the other hand, can force you to pay off a huge, expensive debt for a whole year, and during that time, you won't see any visible results. You'll quickly get tired and give up on the whole thing. So the rule is simple. If you have ironclad mathematical discipline, choose the avalanche. If you're an ordinary person who's tired of stress, choose snowball. The main thing is, under no circumstances should you spread those extra 200 euros thinly across all your loans. That's the most common mistake. That way, you won't see progress on any of them. Focus your efforts strictly on one target. Now let's take a step back and look at the root of the problem. After all, loans are almost never about a lack of money. Loans are about a lack of something else. Think about it. Why do we take out consumer loans in the first place? We live in an era of constant social pressure. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube show us the perfect life every second. It seems like everyone around us drives new cars, travels 3 times a year, and wears nothing but designer clothes. A subconscious fear arises. Something's wrong with me. I'm falling behind. I'm worse than others. And buying something on credit is an attempt to buy a status we haven't earned yet. It's an attempt to appear, not to be. Credit is, in essence, a way to take joy from your own future and consume it today. You're taking money from your future self, from that older Alex who might be more tired, might want to change jobs, or might want to take a break.
True financial freedom isn't when you can afford to buy a new phone on credit with a monthly payment of 40 euros. True freedom is when you have enough money in your account that you don't have to think about money at all for the next 6 months, even if you decide to quit your job tomorrow. Debt isn't a stigma or a death sentence. It's simply a temporary engineering problem with a clear, step-by-step solution. Set aside an hour tonight. Write down your debts. Choose your method, the snowball or the avalanche, and make your first, even if it's the smallest, early payment of €10. Get this process started. I am absolutely certain that you will succeed. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Write in the comments, which method do you think resonates more with you psychologically? Take care of yourselves.
Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.